Hey guys, in this video, this is the fourth problem that we're doing. This is section 3.3, classroom example 1. I'm also going to do 2A and 2B right after this in the same video, so just hang tight. Okay, so for this part, we are asked to find the exact values of sine -3 pi, cosine -3 pi, and cotangent -3 pi. So what I want you to realize is what we're evaluating here is sine S, cosine S, and cotangent S, where S is equal to -3 pi. So instead of making a circle, because it's probably going to come out pretty busted, I'm going to go ahead and save that page and then clear this out. And I'm just going to scroll down to this unit circle right here. So remember that just like degrees, you can keep, how do I want to say this? Essentially, remember we have negative and positive degrees, and those go on forever. Well, we also have negative and positive radians, and they essentially do the same thing, okay? So if we were to start, let's make a bright color at this point, okay? This would be 0 to begin, and that'd be radians, right? And then we move in the negative direction. This would technically be -pi/2. And then over here would be -pi. Okay. Keep going. -3 pi/2. Okay. Now, the only ones we really care about, though, we're looking for the location of -3 pi. So we can actually just count back in pi's. We can ignore the pi/2's. So let's go ahead and erase these. That was just to help us count. Okay, so we started 0, go back to -pi. This place then would be -2 pi next. And then we get to -3 pi. So the location of -3 pi is right here. Okay. That's the same location as if S were to equal pi, or if theta were to equal 180 degrees. All right, let me go ahead, save that picture, and then clear screen again. Gonna move up here. Okay. So one more thing that we want to mention here. Remember that the coordinates, okay, that's an undo. There we go. So each of the coordinates on the unit circle, remember, if we're talking about circular functions, we have cosine S first, and then we have sine S second. All right. So where we were, we had, wish I could zoom out on this, right here. We can actually see that for our location, we have cosine of S being equal to -1 and sine of S being equal to 0. Okay, remember S is equal to -3 pi in this case. All right, so let me clear this out and move back up. All right, so essentially, sine of -3 pi will be 0. Cosine of -3 pi is -1. And then remember from here, cotangent of -3 pi would be cosine -3 pi over sine negative 3 pi, which would give us a negative 1 over 0. So cotangent negative 3 pi is undefined. Okay. And just for emphasis, that would be right here on the unit circle. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is a weird device to make circles on. All right, anyway, you got the point from what we drew down below. Imagine the unit circles there, and we have the point, negative 1, 0. Okay. All right, that one's done. Let's go ahead and move on to classroom example 2, A and B. Let me go ahead and erase all these details. All right, and then we'll move down here. Okay, so for this, we are trying to find, for part A, cosine of 4 pi over 3 and sine of 4 pi over 3. So first thing we're going to do is look for S. And S in this case is 4 pi over 3. So 4 pi over 3 is right down here. And remember, this would be the cosine value. And this would be the sine value. So cosine of 4 pi over 3 is equal to, okay, goodness gracious. Negative 1/2. And sine 4 pi over 3 is equal to negative root 3 over 2. Okay. Next bit, we are trying to find out the exact value of tangent of negative 9/4 pi. Yeah, we could say that. Negative 9/4 pi, or negative 9 pi over 4. Okay. So use your counting skills here. Remember, if you still need help counting the unit circle, contact me so that we can talk about this, because there are methods for doing this with fractions that are helpful. I'm going to go ahead and display this with the fourths. So I'm going to start here. This is 0 pi over 4, negative pi over 4, negative 2 pi over 4, negative 3 pi over 4, negative 4 pi over 4. Okay. So corresponding to these spots. Okay, keep counting. Negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, negative 8, negative 9. So what we find is that negative pi over 4 is the same as negative 9 pi over 4, which is the same as 7 pi over 4. So tangent there we go. Tangent of negative 9 pi over 4 is equal to tangent of 7 pi over 4. And that's going to be equal to sine 7 pi over 4 divided by cosine 7 pi over 4. So let's go ahead and clear out this stuff here. And we'll even clear out the last problem just so we can move a little bit. Okay, all right. Okay, I guess we will not be able to move like I thought anyway. Okay, so here we go. You see right here, we have a cosine of 7 pi over 4 as root 2 over 2. We have sine of 7 pi over 4 as negative root 2 over 2. So when we take the ratio of these, we're going to get -1. Let me go ahead and save that picture. And I think I'm just gonna have to move down a little bit. Okay, I know why that this is, okay. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna erase this. And just rewrite a little bit smaller. So that's negative root 2 over 2 divided by root 2 over 2, which is 1. Negative 1. Whoop. All right, there we go. And we are done with classroom examples from 3.3. So in the next video, I will cover the last problem from your quiz, which will be in section 3.4. It will involve linear and angular speed.